Second, Margie. And you're good.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the San Diego Riverside School Board meeting. It is May the 8th at 6:11 p.m. and we'll call the meeting to order at this time. I'll do the roll call here. David Toledo,
Present.
LaDonna Yepasando,
Present.
Kiani Upshot Toya,
Present.
Margie Krill present. And I did notify Susan Baca to get online. I don't know if she got the message or not. And then I understand that Joe Dan heard from our other board member, Patrick Segura, this evening, and he's very ill, so he can't get on the meeting. So we have 4 present, 2 absent. We do have a quorum, so we'll go on to the opening activities. Here's the agenda for everyone here tonight. If you can just go over the agenda, I need a motion and a second to accept the agenda.
I'll motion the agenda.
Okay, so LaDonna Yepasando, motion to accept the agenda for tonight's meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, Kiani Upshot Toya seconded. I have to go around and see if everyone agrees. David, do you agree to accept?
I agree.
Okay, LaDonna, do you agree to accept?
Yes.
And Kiani, do you agree to accept the motions?
Yes.
Okay, and Margie, I agree to accept the motion. Okay, so motion carried unanimously, and we'll go on to the next item on the agenda is the meeting minutes from the April 10th meeting. This was sent out to us, I believe. So I just need everyone to look them over and see if there's anything that needs to be changed or added or corrected in last month's meeting minutes. So take a look at it, everybody. You looked over the meeting minutes from the April 10th meeting. I just need a motion in a second to accept the meeting minutes from last month's meeting.
Motion to accept the meeting minutes from last.
Okay, LaDonna Yepasando made a motion to accept the meeting minutes from the April 10th meeting. Do I have a second?
I second it.
David Toledo second. All in favor say aye.
I
And we have to go around the room and see if you
Oh.
approve.
Aye.
Kiani, do you approve? I hate this part, you guys.
Yes, I approve.
Okay, David, do you approve?
yes, I approve.
Hey, LaDonna, do you approve? Go ahead, LaDonna. LaDonna, do you approve? She unmuted and then there she is. Go ahead.
Yes.
LaDonna approves, Margie Krill, I approve, so motion carries. All right, the next item on the agenda is public comment. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person. Does anybody want to make a public comment at this time?
So Margie, if I may,
Yes.
I would like to present two topics. This is a requirement for the state. Both of these topics involve funding. The first topic is Title I funding, which would be supplementation for a math instructor's salary. And then we would have the Title IV funding, which would help support with hiring an attendance coach for next year. Just so you know, it is a requirement by the state to make sure that we put these in public comment for anybody that would like to give suggestions or raise any concerns for either of these topics.
Okay, thank you for mentioning that. We do need a math teacher, so I think everyone would agree that we would like to hire a math teacher and attendance coach. If you can tell us more about that.
Yeah, sure. So with the math instructor salary for Title I funding, there's a variety of different ways that we could look at it, but because we're trying to hire a highly qualified a math instructor that has the math background, which is very important for us to have in our state, as well as something that the Public Education Commission would like to see us have. This would help with the strain of our how would we say, our operations budget and ensuring that we have that supplement. So when I talk about supplementation, it means that it's not going to cover all of the salary. I believe the Title I fund is $28,600, which would help out, right? And then the Title IV funding would support with an attendance coach. Our attendance is not very good at the school. And so this attendance coach, this would help support or supplement their salary if it's already a teacher that we have or somebody that we would bring on from the outside. This fund is for $10,000. Again, there is a variety of different options for funding, but we felt like these were the two best suited for those funds and high needs for our school.
Like, would the attendance coach be directly involved with the students and parents as to why their kids are always absent or something like that?
Correct. Yeah, so
Okay.
attendance coach would be monitoring attendance. Attendance coach would be calling parents, ensuring that kids have a right to school, ensuring that kids are completing work on time.
Mhm. That's a good thing. I think both of those would be great.
So, again, we don't have to give public comment. It's there for the general public, but we don't have to take any action item, just there if anybody would like to speak on behalf or concerns. It's not needed, just so you know, but I'm going to go ahead and put myself on mute. And then Margie, if nobody gives any comments on either one of them, which is totally fine, then you have the right to move on to Finance Committee.
Right, okay. All right, anybody can speak on the public comment about those two issues or any other comment that they want to make. It's open.
I'd like to make a comment.
Go ahead. David
I think
Toledo.
that's a great idea, Mr. Jordan. I think it's great for the school. The more staff we have, the better services that we can provide for the student population. So I do support it. Thank you for looking into it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that too, that comment. Anybody have anything else?
Yeah, I have another comment. Okay, so with this being said, wanting to hire a couple or a few people to do those job titles, is that gonna interfere with what's going on with the Trump and everything with the education department, Mr. Lovato? As
Well-
far as like losing teachers or losing funding?
Well, Mr. Lovato can't speak in public comment. It's just to make comments, but he will
Oh,
go
okay.
down in the
Okay,
other
so
part of his principal's report. He'll tell us more
oh,
about
okay. All
about
right.
any funding that we're
Okay.
losing
All
and
right.
all.
Sounds good.
But yeah, but you support this as long as we're funded for it. Is that what your comment is
Okay.
from LaDonna
Yeah.
Sando? Okay, thank you. Anybody else? All right, I hear no one else in public comment, so we'll move on to the next item on our agenda, which is the Finance Committee report. So we actually have Aaron here with us tonight to give the Finance Committee report. And we have Chris Moore. You all remember Chris Moore, our previous finance person. He's here for if Aaron has any questions that he can't answer or give him support. He's here for that because Angie's not here. So you have the floor, Aaron. Go ahead.
Alrighty, perfect. Let me share my screen. Here we go. And let me know if everyone can see.
You're having, you're not coming in like really clear. If you're speaking, we're not hearing you very well.
You're a little soft. Oh, okay. Let's see here. Oh, can you hear me now?
Way better, thank you.
Way better. Okay, perfect. Okay, awesome. All right, so here's San Diego Riverside's financial update for April. We did have a couple of bars this month. So the first bar is going to be a mini grant. Joe Dan, if you wanted to talk a little bit about this, feel free to. But that was an increased bar that he got for tutoring. And then we also have a decreased bar to operational. This was because we did not meet 40th day count. And the third one is a decreased bar to Ed Fellows. They originally funded 2 Ed Fellows, but we only have 1. So they're taking that money back. And
So
the
excuse me, Aaron, we actually have
Yeah.
to pay back the state that 29,000 and that 6,000 back to them.
Correct, since we did not have that second Ed Fellow.
I see.
So just if I could clarify that wasn't something that was in our regular budget, right, Aaron? Like it isn't like the school's not losing that. The state allocated that for us, and because we didn't utilize that second fund, they're just taking that back. So
Correct.
it's not going to affect our budget moving into next year.
Right.
Yeah, and then just to speak on the other items, because for once I actually do know a couple of these things after our conversations. That mini grant that you see there, the increase that was from the PEC's mini grant for charter schools that we were awarded, and that's what we used for our tutoring services that we're doing every Tuesday and Thursday, and hopefully we can bring their services back more. How would I say, a lot more next school year for all of our students. But this was a great start to get our foot in the door and get our kiddos some much needed support in math and language arts. And then the operational, I don't remember the exact number, but I know that we were anticipating a way larger number. I'm just gonna throw a ballpark out there, Aaron. I could be wrong, but I think the last time I spoke to Angie, we were thinking it could be between 60 and 70,000. And so that 6,441 decrease in our operational is actually a really good thing. We're not anywhere near the hole that we thought we were going to go into next year with. That is a drop in the bucket compared to where some other schools are. So I just wanted to speak on those and give the board some perspective. I was really content when we went to spring budget meeting. Aaron and Angie and I met, and when she presented that, she said, "Oh my God, they did release some of the other schools where they were at." So I was very content that even though it is a little bit of a decrease, it's not anywhere where we thought it was going to be or anywhere near what some other schools are going to experience.
Thank you, because I do remember when they were saying last year or something that our 40-day count was supposed to be 75 and we ended up with 59 or something, that we would have to pay back like so many $1,000 per child. It was, like you said, it was 60 or $70,000. So thank God that we just paying back like 6,500 almost, but that does help us a lot. Even though we can't lose money, we'll just get more students this year, hopefully. So thank you.
Perfect. And then that fourth item there, we have a blanket bar approval on fiscal year end bars. And this is just to kind of clean up the books and any final changes we need to make. But we're going to make sure to let Joe Dan know if any of those changes need to happen. So he'll be in the loop on those. And then we're going to go over payroll and accounts receivable, and then the financial statement reports. So I'm going to scroll through those and let me know if I'm going too fast. So here's that first bar. This is for that $10,000 grant. And here's that decrease bar, the first one. And that second one. Here's that first chart. This is the expenditure analytical review. This is the projected expenditure versus budgeted expenditure. And here's the projected budget balance for all funds.
So the
Looking
blue
like,
is what we actually are, and the yellow or the orange is what was estimated, right?
so the blue is the budget amount, yellow is sum of estimated. Mhm.
Okay.
And then on this one, the blue is the percentage of the budget and the orange is prior months. So here's the current year revenue versus the budgeted revenue. Here's yearly expenditure comparison by all months for the month of April. And we did spend a little bit less this year compared to the previous years. And this is spending per student. These are the graphs for estimated expenditures by function, by object, and also object code change in percentage. And here's our monthly cash balance for the month of April. Our liquidity is at about 3.12%, which would cover about 3 months of expenses. We're getting into the check report. Let me know if I need to pause or slow down or anything.
I'm just gonna take a look at the checks really quick right now. So
Sure.
if everyone just see anything that they have any questions about to ask Aaron, you can do so here. This is all the checks that K-12 accounting wrote out this past month for in April for our bills. You can scroll up a little bit more and see the bottom of it and after legal shield. Okay, that's it. Yeah, I don't have any questions on it. Does anybody have any questions on any checks that they wrote out to vendors for the month of April? Okay, then we'll just go on.
Perfect. And attached is the check report. This is just more detailed on the above report.
Yeah, we can just go through that pretty quickly because we've already looked at all the checks. This is just showing how we paid them or what was all
Perfect.
paid in that, yeah.
Here's the account summary report. Here's the statement of revenues and expenditures and change in fund balance.
Um,
Here's the balance sheet report. And the bank account reconciliation report. As you can see, we zeroed out.
Excuse me, can we stop for a second? I
Yeah.
just need to ask you and, Mr. Lovato Jordan, are we still paying, Christine, Commander, Dr. Commander, or is that the last of the payments to her from when she was working for us? Do you know?
Yeah, so these are the last, right, Aaron?
Are you referring to these two right here?
Right, the first top two, right? Mhm.
So these are the outstanding checks. So it looks like she hasn't cashed a couple, so we'll need to reach out and see if she can get those cashed. But yeah, those one of them goes back to February and one is in March. So it looks
What
like there
is
aren't
our,
any more.
what's our hold on the checks? Like, is it 90 days or like, does it check say if you don't cash this in 90 days, it's not valid or something like that? Or do you know what it says on the checks?
I believe it's 90 days, but we usually like to keep this pretty clean. So we'll need to reach out about the February and definitely the March. So
I believe it's actually 1 year because I was worried about that too,
one
and I
year.
think it said that yeah, I have 1 year to catch. She was out with due to personal stuff. I talked to Dr. Arrow, and I just saw her yesterday when I was giving our possible new employee a tour of the gym. So I will make sure that I hand deliver those checks now that she's back.
Well, she's probably already got them. She's just sitting on them right now, right?
No, the
Already
school
got
had
'em.
them. We contacted her and let her know that
Ah,
that
oh, we have them
they
at
were
the
there,
school.
but
Okay.
Arrow informed me that she had been out for a duration of time, but now she has returned. So, like I
I
said,
see.
I'll make sure she gets them within the next few days.
Okay, okay, thank you. What is Brian Landon that you paid him 1,494 for? Do you know what that is? He has an outstanding check.
Let's see here. I can open up that for you.
Mm, I thought we're still paying a lot for propane. Hmm. When we paid New Mexico Charter School Educational Service Association, is that our dues, Joe Dan, that $10,000?
Yes, that's correct, Aldo.
That's our whole membership dues for all of us?
Yes.
That's a lot. Okay. All right, go ahead, Aaron. I'm sorry. I just saw that.
Give me one moment. Do you want me to email you that invoice or would you like
No,
to
I just want
review
to
it right
see, I
now?
just want to see it. I just didn't know who he was or what he did.
Okay.
I just wanted to see what the invoice said. You know Joe Dan? Brian Landon?
I'm not really familiar with that. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think
It's
here.
just something I've never seen before, so sorry to
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I had not I I want to say that that's a one-time thing, but let me once Aaron shows us what that looks like, I might be able to give a little bit more explanation on that. 294.
So it looks like this is Tutorfly, but Brian Landon is the see if I can drag this over to you guys.
Oh, that makes sense now.
Does that help you? Yeah. Tutorfly is the organization that you said we got started for tutoring for our
Yes.
kids, right? So
Yes.
you're paying him directly for, okay.
So
Yeah.
this is Tutorfly. Mhm.
Oh, okay. So he did, in March, he did 27 hours of tutoring for $55 an hour.
So that's interesting that they have it under his name because the invoice is showing Tutorfly Holdings, but I guess we make the check directly to him then.
If he's the one, the tutoring, I guess. I don't know.
Well, it's an organization and they hire their tutors. So there's
Mhm.
multiple tutors. That's why I said that's because I don't see anywheres on the invoice that state his name. I did see farther up on this on your original document that there it said Tutorfly.
Mhm. Yeah, okay. I saw Tutorfly up there too.
Yeah, if you go up a little way.
Dry Fly Enterprises, but that's, yeah, Tutorfly. That's right.
Um,
I see Dry Fly. I did see Tutorfly though. I think it was for the checks.
yeah, I think you're right. That's where I saw it was on the
It was
checks.
for the checks, yeah. That's okay. We're good. As long as we know what it is, they're not paying a random person. That's all I want.
Right? Somebody's on payroll that we didn't
Yeah, I'm
even
like,
meet
who's
yet.
Brian Landon who never shows up to work? Yeah. All right, that's all. I just needed to make sure about that. All right. So that's good. You can keep going. Yeah.
Perfect.
See where we are.
All right.
Page 51.
It looks like these are the avoided report on the bank rec.
Okay. For Cisco. All right, that's good.
Here's the bank account reconciliation report,
Okay.
the actual GL detail.
You can go through.
And the bank statement.
And all the checks that we wrote.
And here are the check images for all those checks. And that's all for the finance packet. Did we want to approve those bars or?
Is that it
What-
for, we want to approve the bars and the financials right now? So we'll need separate motions for them. Aaron, should we do it that way?
Yeah, we can do it that way.
Okay, that's it for your report after we do that, right?
And then I have the budget presentation.
Okay.
I don't know if that's further down the agenda or if I continue on.
Yeah, let's do
Um,
this. Let's do these approvals and then we'll go to see where you're at next, okay? All right,
All
so
right,
I need a
perfect.
motion from the board to accept the bars that Aaron presented at the beginning of the finance committee report. It's the one increase of a mini grant of 10,000 and the two decreases, one for 6441 for final the 40-day count, and one for 29,000, some for the fellow ship teacher that we did not have this year. So we need to, and then the blanket bar to clean up anything loose ends that we might have toward the end of the year. So can I have a motion to accept the bar to the bars right now?
I'll motion to accept the bars.
Okay, LaDonna Yepasando, motion to accept the bars. And do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
County Upshot Toya seconded it, so we'll go around and see if you agree. County, do you agree?
I agree.
David, you agree? Okay, County, do you agree?
Yes.
LaDonna, do you agree?
Yes.
And then Margie, I agree, so that motion carries and passes. And so we'll go on. The next item on the agenda that, or the next motion that we need to make is to accept the bank reconciliation and cash disbursements and the balance sheet that Aaron just presented. So I need a motion to accept the financials with the cash disbursements. Anybody on the board can motion.
I motion for the cash disbursement
And the bank reconciliation.
and the bank
Okay,
reconciliation.
LaDonna
Yes.
Yepasando made a motion to accept the bank reconciliation, the cash disbursement and the financials. Do I have a second?
I second it.
David Toledo seconded, so we'll go around and see if you agree. David, do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Yes, LaDonna, do you agree?
Yes.
Kiani, do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, and Margie, I agree. So motion passes for the financials and bank reconciliation and cash disbursements for the month, for this month. So we'll go on to the next item on the agenda. Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Thank
what-
you, Aaron.
When you come up next. Okay, the next item on the agenda, I thought I had it here with me, is going to be action items. So these are all the things that we need to take action on. So we'll just go down when Jodan, if you want to go down and Jodan made the agenda this month, so.
Yeah, no, my apologies, Aaron. I should have put the bars back to back for you on the next agenda. I'll make sure that we get all your finance stuff out of the way. I can go fairly quickly through this
Yes.
if you guys want. I'll go item by item, and then you can choose to take a vote. So this one's a possible action of approval for the authorization of me being able to be the signee and as well as submitting the New Mexico State Bilingual Multicultural Education Funding Application Assurance Document. Those documents will need to be signed by myself, by Margie, by Angie or Aaron, and by Bernadette Garcia. And it's just a release of funds. We're not too, I don't think we know 100% of how much funds we're getting just yet, but this is due tomorrow. Aaron, I did share that document with you. If possible, I'd love to try to get these things signed this evening or by early morning so that I could go ahead and submit on time. But I do have the document here, and it's just stating. Let me see if I can pull this up. Sorry, I have 1,000,001 tabs on here. It's embarrassing.
Do we have to vote or discuss, or are you just letting us know, or should we vote on it, or do we have to make a motion for it?
Yeah, we just need to. I just need you to
Agree.
approve that. Yeah, to approve that I'm able to sign and basically
Oh, yeah,
submit.
we don't need to see it. We've seen this a million times, but I'm shocked that we only have 54 kids though. Yeah.
Yeah, we need a lot more. So, but anyways, that's what the document is for. So I'll turn it
Yeah, I
over.
think, did we miss it last year? The bilingual, is that one of the ones that we missed or not?
I
We
think
missed a
this.
couple of documents last year that didn't get submitted on time.
I think this one was submitted.
Yeah, I think I sent. All right, so does everybody, can I just go around and say, do you agree on Jodan signing the bilingual application? We normally get what is something between 20 and $40,000 depending on what we are funded and the number of children that we have in school. So it
So
is
I
a
would.
very good document for bilingual, and our bilingual is our Tola speaking language, so.
Yeah, and I would just. It's standard. Just look for the motion, look for the second, and then roll call vote.
Okay, so I just need a motion and a second to accept Jodan to sign the bilingual agreement.
I motion to accept the bilingual.
Okay, Ladonna, you
What was
present
it
a
again?
motion to have Jodan sign the bilingual account authorization and submit to the state. Do you have a second?
I second it.
David Toledo seconded. All in favor, I'll call for a vote around. David, do you agree?
I agree.
Yeah, Ladonna, do you agree?
Yes.
Yanni, do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
And Margie, I agree. So Jodan, yes, if you can help take care of that. I'm sorry it's such short notice. You have to get it in by tomorrow, but we would appreciate that. We do get a lot of funding from that. Okay, the next item.
Absolutely. The next item is going to be looking for approval for me to go ahead and complete and submit the Fine Arts Education Act grant. Um, it's pretty straightforward. I believe we have this here too. This isn't due until May 31st, so I'm going to be making sure that I work on this. Again, I'm looking through the document right now. We're not too sure what the funding looks like. Aaron, I don't know, you might I don't know. I don't think this is released yet, right? We're just looking to apply. Uh, and then I think they decide what the allocation is.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, fine arts education, so we need a motion and a second for Jodan to fill out and sign the finance application for next year, 2025-2026 funding. This is for K through 6, so I guess it depends on how many students we have K through 6. All right,
Correct.
so do you have a motion and a second to have him take care of that? Anybody on the board can make the motion.
I make a motion for Joe Dan to look into the possible funding for the fine arts.
All right, I have a motion from David Toledo to for the approval of Jodan to fill out and sign the Fine Arts Education Act. Do I have a second?
I second the
Donna
motion.
Sando seconded the motion. I have to do roll call. David, do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
LaDonna, do you agree?
Yes.
Keani, do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
And Margie, I agree. So that motion passes. And the next item on the agenda for the cash disbursements, right, which we all just did a motion for that. Is that good? Okay. The next item is approval of all the bars, which we just did a motion for that after the financial report. And then the other motion is to make a blanket bar, so Aaron can use it to clean up any loose ends for the end of school year, and we did a motion for that already. Okay. So the next item on the agenda is the budget. Possible action for approval of budget. So I'll let you go ahead and explain that, Jodan.
Yeah, I'll actually turn that over to Aaron
Oh, that's, Aaron, that's yours? Okay. go
Yes.
ahead.
Perfect. I'll share my screen. Right, and I will be presenting the 25-26 budget. This is a conditional budget based on estimates, so it's not finalized. But yeah,
Did we give an estimate of how many students we project having?
I
We
do. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead, Jonathan.
we're not 100% sure right now, but our goal is to increase by at least 10. My real behind the scene goal is to increase by 40, right? My actual goal was to get up to 90 students. I think realistically we can probably bring between 10 and 15 more. So I'm hoping that we can project between 70 and 75 students. Uh, but we're sending out registration and more information starting next week. Um, and so yeah, we'll see what we end up getting.
Yes, hopefully, I was thinking 70, but you're thinking way higher numbers, but that's good. That's good. Okay. All right. So go ahead, Aaron. I'm sorry.
Perfect, no worries. Here's the table of contents. Here we go. This is the budget analysis. So San Diego Riverside has a couple of school-specific changes. We did receive 2,000, about a little over 2,000 more in SEG this year. We did lose 70,000 from the ancillary FTE decrease, but we also gained 75,000 from the new added English learners. This is a new multiplier that's been established, and we also gained 42,000 from the K-12 plus increase. There were a couple of statutory required budget changes. So state equalization guarantee, the unit value increased 3.78%. There were mandatory 4% raises for all employees. The grade 6 through 12 multiplier changed, and the 3-year average ELLL students multiplier changed. There's a couple of more statutory required changes. So medical insurance did go up 9.95%, along with dental. The instructional hours changed to 1,140. There was a new multiplier for over 180 days and also over 190. The new minimum hourly rate for school employees is $15. Educational assistance 25,000, level 1 55, level 2 65, level 3 75. And the new principal minimum is 86,250. With the junior high factor, this is now at 108,750. And this is the budget summary. We're projecting a budget of 1,421,569, with 1,166,000 being in operational and also coming from food services. We're projecting 142,712 in special revenue funds. And one of these is Idea B, which will support special education, Title I, which provides financial assistance to schools with high numbers of children from low-income families, and SB 9, which supports facility repair and capital purchases, such as technology. Here's the revenue summary. So some of the revenue that's captured here isn't final. These numbers are projections, and we're potentially receiving more funding than this. And this is the program cost review. This is kind of a breakout of the 910B5 worksheet, which is found in the appendix of the of this document. The school's SEG revenue is expected to be $1,096,972. The areas of increase for the SEG include TCI index, K-12 plus program, and at-risk units, while the decrease is due to our lower ancillary FTEs. And you'll see here on the bottom, the increase, the 2,389. We still did get more than last year. And here's the expenditure summary. So we were able to balance the FY26 expenditures. The school management is continuing to work toward building school student count just to bring in more funding for the school. And we're also working toward implementing a summer program to increase those numbers. And impact aid is continuing, so it should be helping students with those special education expenses. And we're also projecting a cash carryover of 164,337. Once fiscal year end closes and the audits complete, the school will adjust any projected cash carryover that was budgeted. So SDR is actually anticipating 86,000 in operational, 3,000 in food service, and 52,000 in Title IV, and 22,000 in SB9. And this graph is an expenditures by fund code. It's a breakout of the budgeted 45% of operational and fund 11,000, and expenditures in instruction, 4% in classroom support, totaling 54% in instruction. And this is the expenditures by function, all funds. It's a comparison between FY25 and FY26. So I apologize. So the lighter number is our current fiscal year. Darker is the next fiscal year. So you'll see instruction decrease due to the lower FTEs in the budget. Classroom support decreased for the same reason. Administration increased a little bit, and that's due to the late start administration category. So we're budgeting a full salary in that category this year. And we're still expecting to receive our lease assistance allocation a little bit later, so it's not included in this budget right now. This is the expenditures by object code. So 77% of operational without cash carryover are budgeted in compensation and benefits. 21% is budgeted in contract services and 2% into supplies. And here's another comparison between this year and our budgeted projected FY26 numbers. And here's a breakout of our personnel costs. So we have a total of 13.22 FTEs. This breakout includes all 4% mandatory salary increases, as well as the benefits increases. And here's the additional compensation. This is for any substitutes or if we have a coaching stipend. And here's a couple of non-personnel costs. So purchase services such as diagnosticians, psychologists, speech therapists. We do pay for county tax collection, auditing, testing, business office, legal. And we budgeted some expenses into board travel and training, professional development, and student travel. And here's some more non-personnel costs. This is more of a general view. And this is the operational fund balance over the last 6-ish years. So we're projecting by the end of this school year, we're gonna have $86,085 of carryover into operational. And this 61,000 is, we can use that if we have any emergencies or anything comes up. And here's the appendix. So I'm hoping we can pause here and approve the school calendar as well as the salary schedule.
Aaron, can I kind of explain a couple things on the calendar?
Sure, definitely.
Yeah, just so the board is properly informed. This past year, I think we were just above 181 days on our calendar. This year, we decided to extend our school year into the first week of June. And we've also shortened up our spring break. Our goal was to try to go after that extra funding through the what is it, K-12 plus opportunity, which would bring more money to our school. So right now we're looking at a 193-day calendar, which would bring us those extra funds that we desperately need. And I've tried to stay consistent with any holidays or any cultural days that were consistent with the previous calendar. There may be some discrepancies, but again, we will have some flexibility as we get more information, we move forward, we can kind of move those days around if we need to.
Okay, we already have it, just looking at this. Hamus celebrates Christmas all the way till January 7th, so, I would prefer if we could, and I don't know if the board agrees to, or that we would not start maybe Christmas break on the 19th, maybe go to school on the 22nd or 23rd, I don't know, but I can tell you right now, you're probably gonna get a note from the governor saying that nobody can go back to school until January 7th. So we see the 5th and 6th there. That's what I'm thinking, so. I don't know, it's hard to start the vacation on the 24th, but I'm trying to look at a different way to do it, or what do you guys think? You think that we go ahead and start on the 5th and see what happens, or make a, I don't know.
I'm also waiting for Walatoa to complete their calendar so we can have a comparative to it. Uh,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
so if we just took those days off, it would probably just put us under, and of course we would lose the funding on that. I think we
Yeah.
might also have some flexibility to consider those an asynchronous cultural day.
Yeah,
Uh,
we could.
so we
You
are
only get like 4 a year though, right?
we are
Yeah.
afforded 4 of those, but I'm checking in with the state right now to see if we might have more of an exemption, more flexibility, I should say, to see if we can actually consider those. Those may actually be able to be considered cultural days. So let me check on that and I'll get back to y'all.
Okay, yeah, Chris said I would, yeah. Okay, good. I was just throwing that out there, like you said, in that spring break, like you said, we usually always just get like Thursday, Friday, and Monday after Easter off, so that's a good thing there. November uh for Thanksgiving, um we usually get a half a day on that Wednesday before, but I don't know if a half a day makes any difference or not, so. November 4th, is November 4th a day off on that Tuesday?
That's election day. It's mandatory, federal.
We've never had election day off. It's because we don't use our school for for voting. So we have never had election day off,
Uh,
ever, and that's a brand new year.
I'll check with the state, but I think that's, I don't know, Aaron, from what I understood is that's like a new mandatory. We don't that's a federal holiday now.
Yeah, no, that is 100% accurate, and it was part of the calendar like instructions given by PED Sarah at PED. It is now mandatory that all schools have to be off on the 4th. I don't know if our status changes because, you're in a tribal nation, but
Right.
that is accurate. Per PED, the 4th is a required holiday.
So that is this, it's just brand new because we've never been off on that day ever. And the reason I know is
I
because
think this
I
is the
work,
first year they're really enforcing it. That they actually released it with their calendar guidance.
okay, because I work the polls all the time and they always ask, are you off of school? And I'm like, nope, we never are off of school. Yeah. So because we always were told, well, we don't use your school to vote. And a lot of schools are closed because they use their school cafeteria or their school gym or something to do the voting. We do ours at the community center next to the Head Start and in the senior center is where they vote now. They used to vote at the civic center, but since that's under construction or whatever, they don't use that. But yeah, we've never, ever had that day off the whole time I've ever been on the board. So,
Yeah, and as far as I know, this is the first time that PED has specifically notated in their guidance that it had to be a required day off. I know I had several schools last year that didn't have it off last year, but they do now have it this year because it was an official guidance.
wow. Okay, thanks for letting me know. All right, do you want us to go ahead and vote on this, Jodan, or get a motion to vote on it, or do you want to check with Walatoa first, or how do you want to do it?
We can go ahead and approve this. This will just help push anything budgetary to look at forward. And then if we need to, as we get more information, I'm comfortable if the business office is comfortable and the board is comfortable with making any necessary changes as we move through June, July, even before August starts. I do know that we should try to keep as much consistency as possible, but we still have a good little window if we do need to make any minor changes, right?
Yeah, yeah. The final date for calendars and even for board approval is going to be June 10th. So you
Oh,
do
good.
still have some leeway, and hopefully you can get that calendar. My recommendation would be conditionally approved pending any changes, per business office or administration discretion.
Let me just go real quick through the board with it so they know. So as long August, we always have to make sure at least we have August 2nd off. That's our feast day, which is on a Saturday, so that's a good thing. You have starting on the 11th school, but you want the teachers to be at school for in-service days that whole week. What do you think about starting school, like having in-service day for 3 days and bringing these kids to school on that Thursday, the 7th or the 8th?
We
A
have to
couple of
have
days leeway.
according to the guidance from the PED, we have to have a certain amount of hours
40
for
hours of
professional
service in service.
development,
Oh my
and
God.
to do that extended week is going to
Okay.
be yeah.
That's so hard. Oh my God. So I was like, yeah, because before, how many in-service days do we have? 3 or 4 at the most, not a whole week, but yeah, you're right. Okay,
And
so
you're right. This is something that we might have to have a little bit more in-depth talk with the public education department, being that we are a public charter school on the Pueblo.
Mhm.
If there's any more guidance moving forward that's along this lines of being enforced, we have to see if they're gonna grant exception. We're gonna have to see if they give us a little bit more leniency. I understand that we want to build the calendar in accordance with the Pueblo. But we're gonna have to really start kind of pushing them to see what they can do for folks around any of the pueblos to accommodate that calendar, right?
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, so that's good. School starts on August 11th. August 15th is Zia Feast Day. Everyone leaves school on that day, but because it's a half a day, we still doing those half days on Fridays or leaving out 1:30 on Fridays. Then, so
It would
that's,
be it would be 2 o'clock if I did the calculations right.
that's really late. Okay, so, all right, so that's the 15th. So you might just have students absent that day. That's fine with us. Monday, September Memorial Day, nothing else September. Okay, October, Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day. That's good. The 17th, you have in services that like the kids are out because they're having parent teacher conferences on the 17th. Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so usually they don't have like a
Or
whole weekend.
actually, we may even and Aaron, I'm glad you caught those. I gotta go back with Angie. Those might actually be half days with the rest of the day. Uh, with the rest of the day considered the in-service day on those, so that we can get credit for. for that. And I think
Well,
that's,
they're all on Fridays and we leave early on Friday anyway, but if we only leave in an hour and a half early, then that doesn't really make that much difference, so. If we're leaving at 2 instead of 3:30, right?
it's the difference between considering it a half day or a full day.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, and then November, that's good. I don't know about the November 4th, but you're right, if you have to. November 11th and 12th, that's fine, that's Veterans Day, and then our feast day, so that's good. And then, like I said before, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for Thanksgiving, then December, those weeks, January, and we have, Martin Luther King Day on the 19th, February President's Day, March, we don't have any days off in March, just an in-service day, April, the Easter break, May, Memorial Day, and then we get out of school June 5th. If all of this lines up properly, that's 193 days, you say, right? So I would say I mean, it fits in everything that we need to fit in. I'm just looking at the January 5th and 6th, how you would handle that and see what what happens on those days. But other than that, if anybody wants it, should we just go ahead and tentatively approve it? How do you want the motion to be read? Mhm.
Yeah, Margie, I had the same
Mhm.
question too for January 5th and 6th.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's my only question right there. So
Yeah.
might be a little bit of a conflict
Mhm.
because I know they will be busy over here in the village.
Mhm. See, they dance actually in the village, they'll dance those days, they'll even dance on the 7th, but we don't have to have the kids out of school on the 7th, but a lot of times they are, but the 5th and 6th are really, I mean, the 6th is the most, if you're only gonna do one day, the 6th is the most important day. They install governors on that day. So everybody in the village is there watching them, give the new canes to the governors on the Pueblo on January 6th. That's like the holiest day in the whole calendar for our Pueblo is January 6th. Besides like Christmas and all, but for the Pueblo itself, yeah. So we'll just have to look at that for sure.
So
Mhm.
yeah, everything else looks good except those 2 days that we still have questions on.
Mhm.
So some of the options, and I think Christopher stated it really well, right? Conditionally, we still have room to make sure that we can make those improvements. If we really have to, we can push back our teacher professional development into the last week of July, and then start in there if we need to pick up those extra days, and then count those. So there's, then we have our asynchronous as well opportunity. So we have a little bit of flexibility. I'm a little bit interested to see what Walatoa did with those calendars, but I think conditionally approving those would still keep us at 193 days. And I think that should be our ultimate goal, is to, even if we have to add more at the end or add more at the beginning, to try to keep that for funding purposes.
I agree. Yeah. You can't do asynchronous days on the 5th and 6th, though. That won't even be allowed, so that'd be okay. But anyway, whatever we can do. I know Waltoa's calendar will reflect that too, so you can take a look. Another thing is December 12th. That's another day that we observe. That could be called an asynchronous day, December 12th, but that is the day that we do observe for a holy day, and that's on a Friday this year. So if I can get a motion to I guess tentative approve this calendar. I don't know how to say it though, Joe Dan. You couldn't say how to say the motion because I don't know, tentatively or conditionally approve it, or how do you want to say it? Yeah.
Actually put it in the chat for you.
Oh, thank you. I love you. Okay, that's great. All right. So Chris Moore gave it to me. So if someone can make a motion to conditionally approve approve pending changes from administration, business, and office or the PED. So if someone makes a motion, it's in chat to say, I make a motion to continually approve this calendar pending changes from administration, business office, or PED. So, and then I'll need a second on that.
Okay, I make a motion to conditionally approve the calendar pending changes from administration, business office, or PD.
Okay, thank you. LaDonna Pasando made a motion to conditionally approve this calendar. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, County Upshot Toya seconded. So I'll do the roll call now. David, do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
LaDonna, do you agree?
Yes.
Kiani, do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
And this is Margie, I agree. So we have conditionally approved the 2025-2026 calendar. Thank you. We'll go on to the next item.
Perfect.
Aaron, do you need to do a conditional approval of the budget, or did they already do that? Sorry, I'm losing track here.
We do need to do that. I was going to run through the salary schedule as well. I believe we need an approval on that, and then we can do an approval on a conditional approval on the budget.
Okay, is this the salary schedule for everybody that works at our school, depending on like what level they are?
Correct.
Okay. So if anybody wants to be a teacher, look how much money you can make.
So, just so you know, and again, correct me if I'm wrong here, Aaron or Christopher, the budget that we have here currently in front of the board, it has the 4% baked into the new salary schedule automatically. So, I don't want any confusion to feel like, for example, if we're looking at a level 2 certified instructor with 3 years starting at $70,500, that we would have to add 4% on there. That's not the case. We've already added that 4% into those to that salary schedule.
Correct.
Okay, so this is the budget schedule. Do we accept it, or it's already in stone, so we don't have to accept it, right? This is what it has to be.
I think that you would probably have to vote to approve it because I mean, some schools do say we want them increased, or if there's still flexibility, decrease it by $5 or $10, whatever we can go. But I think it'd probably be in the board's best interest to go ahead and vote for approval.
Okay, so this is a salary schedule for the teachers. So I need a motion to accept the salary schedule for the 2025-2026 school year for the San Diego Riverside Charter School. What do you want to do it? Anybody want to make a motion who's on the board can do so. There isn't much you can do about it, so.
I make a motion to accept the school budget for 2025-26.
Okay, for the school, not the budget, it's the
The salary schedule.
schedule. Okay.
Well, the salary schedule, I'm sorry.
Okay, so David Salido made a motion to accept the 2025-2026 school salary schedule. Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Donna Yepasander seconded, so we'll take a vote. David, do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
LaDonna, do you agree?
Yes.
Kiani, do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, and this is Margie, I agree, so that's accepted. The next item on the agenda is the budget, right? The
Correct.
Conditionally approved. Okay, that budget that Aaron just went over for our school, if someone could make a motion to conditionally approve that budget the same way pending changes from administration, business office, or PED, then we can vote on that. So if I have a motion for that. Anybody?
I make a motion to conditionally agree to accept the school budget for 2025-2026.
Okay, thank you. David made a motion. David Toledo made a motion to conditionally approve the 2025-2026 school budget pending changes from administration, business officer, PED. Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Ladonna Pasando seconded it. I'll take a vote now. David, do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Ladonna, do you agree?
Yes.
Keani, do you agree? She's there. Keani, are you there? And Margie, I agree. So let me just get the agreement from Keani. Yeah, she's still on the phone. Keani, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, my Wi-Fi is slow.
You agree? Yeah. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
On the budget? Okay. So that's everyone on, that's a quorum that voted on that budget, so that passes. That motion carries. And then the next item on the agenda, what else was it that we needed to vote for? There's one more thing I thought. Salary increases, is that it?
I think you've captured
We already
everything.
did that? Okay, good.
Yeah, let me go ahead and just go back to, sorry, I'm on there twice and I hear my echo on my phone back here. I didn't want to confuse myself. So let's see, just to run through, we've done the first we've done A, B, we've done C, we've done our bars, blanket bar, we've done budget, we've done salary schedules and calendar. So our next item would be closed session.
Okay, so we just need to make a motion to go into the closed session to discuss limited personnel matters. And so we just need to make a motion in a second to go in, and then you're gonna get a, he's gonna log off of this Zoom, and we're gonna get on another Zoom to go into the room, because it's not recorded and this is recorded, okay? So as soon as
So what-
someone makes a motion in a second, go ahead.
So what I'll try to do, and I think you have to read I know there's a statement. I think that's the statement, the pursuant to section 10. I think you have to read that. And then if you'll give me a second, what I'm going to try to do is put us into a breakout room. And then we'll all go invited into the breakout room. And since I'm running the meeting, it'll be easier for me to invite those folks and then decide when we want to come out. So I know it's going to be a little bit weird, and if there's a point in our closed session where you want me to step away, I'll figure something out.
All right, so if we could get a motion, this is closed session pursuant to section 10-5-1 H2, the New Mexico NMSA 1978. The board will meet in closed session to discuss limited personnel matters. So I just need a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make a motion to go to closed session.
Okay, so LaDonna, Ipasando made a motion to go into closed session. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
County, Upshaw Toya second. I have to take roll call. David, do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Yes, LaDonna, do you agree?
Yes.
County, do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, and Margie, I agree. So we're going into closed session, so.
Okay, I'm going to create a breakout room, and you'll accept the room. So let's try this out. Let's see what we got here. So create that room.
Aaron and Chris, are you gonna wait for us in closed session? Are you guys gonna get off or?
Yeah, Aaron, Christopher, I think you're good to go if you need to.
Yeah, that's fine.
I wanted to stay for the principal's report, but that's okay.
Thank you, Aaron and Chris. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.
Gentlemen, appreciate it. Okay, let's see here.
That's a lot of work, Aaron. Thank you for doing that.
Of course.
I believe.
Good to see you, Christopher. I'm glad you're here. See you again soon.
Oh, of course. I'm not going on. I don't go anywhere, and every once in a while I check on y'all, make sure you're still around.
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
I'm gonna join conditionally.
David said he's only going to join conditionally.
Hey, I was gonna talk to you real fast about the calendar. Oh,
Oh, I think it's just us now.
yeah, he left. I was gonna let you know, for the asynchronous days, you can just let your director know. They have to be like it has to be at least partial, like direct instruction. It can't just be like what it used to be, where it's like you assign them homework and that's it.
Okay.
And it might be beneficial for them, Aaron. And you can bring it up. It might be beneficial for them to move to a 4-day calendar. They wouldn't have to have nearly as many days. They could cut out Fridays entirely, and they could still capture all that K-12 plus funding. I think with a 4-day calendar, you only need 165 days to get the same amount of funding you're getting.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's worth looking at. I know they were had concerns about the calendar being a little bit shorter, or the
Mhm.
the Fridays not getting out as early. So if they wanted, PD didn't let schools move to a 4-day calendar week for like 3 years, and this is the first time they're letting schools go back in. So you absolutely don't have to do it. And sometimes it's a multi-year thing. Like Cottonwood, they're moving to a 4-day calendar, but they've been talking about it for like 3 years.
Okay.
Um, yeah. But I would bring that up because it's worth consideration. You
Yeah.
could have a slightly longer school day Monday through Friday, but then get all of the Fridays off, not have as many days and get all of those K-12 plus days. Like it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I'll get with Joe Dan and we can talk about that.
Awesome. But otherwise, I think you did a really good job.
Thanks, Chris.
Um, I wanted to let you know, Title IV cannot carry cash.
Okay.
So you'll need to adjust that and make sure you get that closed out. But aside from that, everything else looked really good.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you, Chris.
Awesome. Well, have a good evening.
Thanks. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello, everyone. We left the closed session, executive session, returned to the regular open meeting. Joe Dan, do we have to make a motion to come back? We usually do in the past, so.
Yes, I have the vote to return to open session.
Okay. So I need a motion and a second to return to the regular scheduled meeting, open session meeting at 8:14 p.m. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to return to the regular meeting.
Okay, LaDonna Yepasano made a motion to return to the regular open meeting session. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
County Upshot Toya seconded. So I have to take a vote. David, do you agree?
I agree.
County, do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
LaDonna, do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
And Margie, this is me, I agree. So we're returning back to the open sessions. And the next item on the agenda would be, is that J? Or are we gonna go on? Okay, so that is on, he's on mute, is a possible action approval of the head school evaluation. So if someone could make a motion to table that, and we'll do it in a regularly, a special board meeting to evaluate the principal. So that's item J, if anyone wants to make a motion. Donna, anybody can.
Okay, I'll make a motion to table the evaluation for principal.
Okay, LaDonna Yepasano made a motion to table the evaluation for the principal. Do I have a second?
I second it.
David second, so go ahead and take a vote. David, do you agree?
I agree.
LaDonna, do you agree?
Yes.
And then County, do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
And Margie, I agree. So motion carries. The evaluation will be tabled to a special board meeting. The next item on the agenda is the action of approval of the head administrator's annual contract for the 2025-2026 school year. So if someone wants to make a motion to give our principal, our current principal, Joe Dan Lovato, the contract for the next year, we can do that right now. If you want.
Okay,
Oh.
okay, I'll motion the contract for, Mr. Lovato, the principal.
Okay, so LaDonna Ipasando made a motion to offer Joe Dan Lovato the contract as principal for the 2025-2026 school year. But we also want to see if you could make a motion to change his title to executive director and principal. You want a motion with that too?
Yeah, I'll do a motion for, the title.
Okay, so LaDonna Pasano made a motion to change the principal's title to executive director / principal for the San Diego Riverside Charter School for the 2025-2026 school year, and to offer him a contract for that year. Do I have a second on those motions?
I'll second those motions.
Okay, County Upshot Toya seconded the motion. I have to take roll call. David, do you agree?
Yes, I do.
County, do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
LaDonna, do you agree?
Agree, yes.
And this is Margie. I agree. So welcome aboard. Thank you for being there for another school year, Mr. Lovato. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you. Thank you to the board for your support, and thank you for giving me a job and giving me the opportunity to provide for my family. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for being there for us.
Gonna cost you a song.
Yes. All right.
You're welcome.
All right. The principal's report.
All right, I'm gonna switch screens. Yes, David, I will make sure I get you a good song. Drop a request in my text line, and I'll start working on it. If I don't know.
Yeah, he has to write a song for us.
I will. I
He
will.
has to write a song for the school, and that will be our school theme song.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
I would
Yeah.
be honored to do
Yeah,
that.
wouldn't that be
Sounds
awesome?
good. Yes, we should have a school song.
Exactly.
I would be honored to do that. All right. I know your time is valuable, and I know we're getting late. The principal's report, even though it looks kind of lengthy, a lot of this stuff we've already talked about. So I'm gonna move through this, and I'll just take a quick moment of pause after each item to see if there's any questions or comments on these. But as some of you know, it is Teacher Appreciation Week this week, and we want to show our teachers the utmost respect and love that they absolutely deserve. One thing that I've always brought into my philosophy, even since day one, stepping into the classroom as a teacher, was everybody's a teacher. Everybody's a teacher, right? That includes our custodians, our janitors, our cooks, our EAs. We want to buy into the culture that anyone can teach, anybody is a teacher. Like Ratatouille said, anybody can cook, right? And so it's important that any adult that steps foot on our campus is seen as such. And so we've been celebrating this teacher appreciation all week. They celebrated principal appreciation last week. Margie, again, thank you for the call. And I know some of you have sent me the messages. They had these signs up for me that said nacho. They threw me a nacho party, and they all dressed like me, different editions of me, which I thought was
That's
brilliant.
cool.
And they called me Nacho Average Principal.
Yeah. That's cool.
I was humbled by that. It made my whole year, man. But I wanted to show the same love to them, and so we've tried to do something special for all the teachers and staff. Again, we're all teachers every day of the week. So let's see. Monday, since it was Cinco de Mayo, I felt like it was appropriate to set up a salsa and dip bar. So I brought about 5 or 6 different dips and salsas, and we had a nice little chip and dip party. Tuesday, let me think what we did. Tuesday, my wife cooked green chili creamy
Oh
enchiladas.
my gosh, you should have invited us.
Creamy green chili chicken enchiladas were a big hit, and I know my wife is really humbled, and she's probably in there listening to me right now, smiling. But the staff loved them, so they got a taste of something that I'm accustomed to at home. Let's see here. Yesterday I brought them some fancy donuts from Amy's Donuts. As most folks know, I am a what they call the donut lord. Everywhere I go, I sniff out donuts. That's my kryptonite, and so I wanted to share something that I loved with them, and I brought them fancy donuts. We had some that were like strawberry shortcake donuts.
Where are they from?
Amy's Donuts.
Amy, okay.
Check
Did you
them out.
Yeah, that's good.
They're great. They have pistachio donuts. We even had one called a heart attack, which had peanut butter, bacon,
The
some
donut.
marshmallow fluff, and bananas.
No, no invitation.
Yeah,
Oh,
excuse me.
I'm sorry. I'm to be honest, I was so caught up with doing all the grants and stuff. I've
Yeah.
always been the person that's always celebrated birthdays, celebrated
I
these weeks.
love you for that. I
And
love
I
that.
was just my mind was just somewhere else. And so I do apologize. Moving into next year, definitely I'm going to get better at communicating all these dates. I'm going to have an internal calendar for us to look at. I would like to invite you all. So to this morning, they got breakfast burritos, homemade breakfast burritos,
Um,
from Brandy as well.
Brandy made those for everybody.
She
Oh
made
my gosh.
17 hand rolled burritos this morning. She was up pretty early making sure that
Uh,
everybody was fed. And I think everybody enjoyed them. I still got texts even while we were in this meeting saying, please tell her thank you. It was best burrito I've had. Hey, there's a reason why I married that woman, and she loves what I do. I love what she does, and I'm really grateful that I have somebody that appreciates other people the way that I like to appreciate. They do not want me rolling their burritos. I'm gonna tell you right now. I can cook a steak. I can cook some other things, but in the burrito competition, my wife wins, so I'm glad that she helped me out with that to celebrate. Tomorrow is the last day. I'm trying to think of something clever at the last minute. If the board would like to do
I
something,
was gonna I was gonna see if I could come in the morning and bring like muffins or something. I mean, that's kind of a really bad tacky thing after everything you've done. But if you want to suggest
oh,
something, like who's ever around from the board, if you want to come to the school in the morning to give them something, I could bring something if you'd like.
If anybody wants to, I think maybe tomorrow would be a great day for that community, for the board and myself. I can bring drinks. I make a good lemonade, a trail ride lemonade that I used to make for Patrick Swayze when I was hanging out with him. That was the
mm,
one thing he told me I probably would ever get hired for again was making
Lemon.
lemonade of all things. And I used to make trail ride potatoes, which I'll save for another day whenever everybody's together. But if you would like to contribute in any way, I know the teachers would be appreciative. We do have a professional development, so we are going to be there up until 3 o'clock, getting some of our last minute training in. Again, don't feel obligated, but if you'd like to, please come on in. I may actually just say, hey, at the end of the day, let's go for a few rounds somewheres after hours. That can be my last way of appreciation for them. So
That would be good. Yeah, I could bring something in the morning. I'll get there early in the morning with something. Yeah.
thank you, Margie. Yeah, like I said, don't feel obligated, but I know they've worked their tail end off. They've been really great this year. So that's what we did for them. Any questions or concerns there with Teacher Appreciation Week?
I think you're having too much fun.
We're gonna think
Without us.
bigger and better next year. Get ready, bigger and better next year.
Great job.
All
So
right.
I'll move on to the next one here. Title One, Title Four, New Mexico State Bilingual Multicultural Education Program application. Some of you all voted on most of these for approval this earlier in this meeting. We've submitted these. Some of them are in process. They've actually gotten back to me on a couple of them, stating that we've been approved for funding for some of these items right off the bat. Others were missing some documentation, and they're going to work with us to make sure that all the documentation is in. And just got to give a big shout out. I know she's not on this call, but Angie and Aaron. I know Aaron's been doing a lot of legwork behind the scenes. I have bugged Angie every single day of this week. I have set up Zoom scheduled meetings. I know Margie called me this morning. I was like, hey, I'm in a meeting with Angie right now. But she's been really helping me, not just with the funding. She's really helped me have a second eye on these applications. So I don't know that I could do this without Angie and Aaron being on this team. So kudos to them, and just know that I'm appreciative. I don't know when K-12 Appreciation Week is, but we might have to create a new holiday for them.
I
Yeah,
think so. Yeah,
They've
they've
been
been good
great.
to us.
Just know we do have funding coming in. The next one is and I'll wrap these together. The next one is the Title 6. It says fining. I don't know why, but it should say funding.
Okay,
Uh, let's see here.
there you go.
All right, there we go. So this was the one that Shendo sent to me. Apparently, something was submitted before I got here. And basically, they're the middle person as well as the supporter for the Indian Ed funding allocations for this school year. Those allocations are going to total to $10,767.60, which we'll eventually have to put in a bar to approve. And then they're also going to be sending an MOU for us to sign, a memorandum of understanding. And I've already sent them an email.
But who's gonna send us an MOU?
That comes from Shendo, Mr. Shendo.
But what is his MOU for?
This is to be able to release the funds to us.
Okay. All right, we'll have to look it over because it's probably a fine tooth comb saying that he gets 10,000, but we get 767 or something. So we have
Yeah.
to look it over. Yeah.
I'm sure we have plenty of time to do this. If we get it before we do our special meeting, we can throw that on there real quick and knock that out. If not, we can wait till our June meeting. There were there's like a list of parameters that we have to evaluate, and we can choose two of them. And I chose two of them, and the person who I listed under this for right now for some protection is Norma. Just so that you all know, and I can share that with you. We want an EA in there. And so we put it down because this previously was used for Welma.
Oh yeah, well, my gosh, Pen. I think if you could find out from the state if there's a way I could find out like who applied for this funding and the exact amount that was given for this funding, because what happens is that like our school applies for this funding, they send it to Kevin Shendo, Department of Education, and then he kicks us back 10,000. But what if he got 50,000 and he's keeping 40 and he's giving us 10, things like that. So that's the kind of stuff that's happened and gone on in the past. And we've applied for like Title IX, Title VI. We've done the applications for it. So
He gave me a breakdown of what schools, because I know the district school was also in it.
okay, the district had given this up and they didn't want to apply for this anymore. That's
Oh,
why we took over applying for it way back a few years ago. Yeah. So
so that might be a conversation we have with the state to see what we can do our
Yeah.
own thing. But he did give me a breakdown. I know Walatoa didn't receive any of the funds, but the day school did.
no, no.
The Valley did, and we did, and I believe his department did as well.
And the day school should never receive funds like this from the public education department because they're funded federally through the federal
Fairly,
government,
BIA.
through the Bureau of
Funny.
Indian Education. They should never get a dime from our kind of title fundings. Yeah.
Because we're being recorded, I want to make sure I get the accurate information. If you give me just 1 second, I will pull up his documentation, which I can. Let me pull it up. Give me 1 second, just so that the board is able to see what. There it is. So I will switch my screen over so that you can see this. Okay, I did misstep on that. It wasn't the day school, it was Zia Education Department.
Hmm.
So let me stop sharing and let me just share this so that you have a perspective of what was sent to me. So what you
That's
see
kind
there,
of off too.
San Diego, Riverside, Jemez Valley, Walatoa, and Zia, and those were the funds that were allocated to each.
Yeah, that's not right. Because why did we only count 45 students? Because he said there's only 45 natives at that school.
That's what I'm saying, but
I don't think that's accurate, right?
I don't think it's accurate for any of for
Yeah,
any-
156.
but
Amos Valley Public Schools, there was a superintendent named Susan back in the day. She said she quit applying for this. So why
Hmm.
would they kick them that much money? Yeah.
So
So the
again,
total grant, if anybody can't see it, was for $64,983. Looks like whoever IDC took off 5%, which was 3,249, left the total funding of $61,734. We got $10,767.60. The Jemez School District, the Jemez Valley Public School District got 37,327.68. And then Zia Education Department, which has nothing to do with our school at all. They don't educate our people. They don't give us any kind of anything. They got $13,638.96. So this is something that I would really question, I think. Yeah.
Question.
But once I find out like who did that grant to start with, I think we did it. Yeah. So
yeah, I'll look into it too because I'm not familiar with Title VI. This is
yeah.
something that I've never. I'll be honest.
Right.
I've
Because it's
seen some of the other. I've seen Title II.
yeah,
I've
Native
seen Title
American,
One,
yeah.
two. I've seen the Title V. I've seen Title IV. I have never seen Title VI. I'm not
Mhm.
familiar with this.
Okay.
So, but let
Mhm.
me go ahead and get back to the
Yeah, go back to the
report.
regular schedule. Yeah.
But I will do a little bit of looking into that because I am interested in understanding a little bit more. It sounds like it's supposed to go to support for schools on the Pueblo, but that's a good point. If Zia has nothing to do with this, I'm interested in
And
why
it's
they.
not even a Zia school, it's their education department, who I'm sure that I think that Kevin is the director of their program too. So I'm not sure
Oh,
how that
that's
happened, but yeah.
interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
The next item I have here is the summer reading program. Currently, we have 20 students registered, and this actually changed. We have 10 more students that are on the waiting list. I'm gonna have to turn students away, and I know that's
No,
not something
why?
we have to do. The reason why is because we only have 7 teachers, and as of right now, 3 are actually fully onboarded and hired. The other 4 are missing certain things to completely get hired. We're working with them to get it done. I know some of them were not happy with some of the things that they needed to do, and I'm not really in charge of that yet, right? I'm in charge of giving them information, but as
Mhm.
far as them going to trainings and doing that's really their due diligence. And so
I
some of
see.
them missed out. I'm trying to help them to rush in. The reason why is because the ratios are 4 to 1.
Oh, I thought it was 10 to
Seven,
1.
we have 7 teachers, which would give us 28 students. So
Mhm.
anything above 28 students,
I
we don't
see.
have time. They won't let me onboard any new teachers. It's already done with. We will only be able to take in 28 students. So right now, we have 10 students on the wait list,
And
uh,
you do have your 7 teachers already. You just have to get 4 of them clearly
fully
vetted,
onboarded
right?
and hired. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're
RJ,
working.
Yeah, I'm here.
can you ask him,
He
so
can hear
are
you.
those students like handpicked, the ones that who need more help, or we were supposed to be applying?
Uh,
Yeah, it's kind of the way we're doing it, just so you know the process, the families will apply, the applications go to the state vets those applications, and then they put them on for me to approve.
oh, I didn't know that.
And really it's kind of a first come, first serve because we're what we call an open site, which means we
Anybody can come to our school for that.
anybody can come to our school, so we're not too sure of which students outside of our school need it the most.
Mhm.
As of right now, I had to start accepting whoever. It's kind of first come, first serve.
Mhm. I see, but if we would have got more information, I think we would put it out to like ourselves, the board could have put it out to, because we know students in our school that needed most help. If we could have put it out to their parents to get them registered or whatever, that would have helped us out. But there might
So
be, like
we,
you said, kids outside of our school that come to the reading program. You're right.
so we did. We posted that. So we sent out flyers to every one of our
But we
students.
did not know about it. 'Cause-
We didn't, I
yeah,
didn't.
because LaDonna's daughters go there and she would want them to have that.
That
My
that was
daughters
in
needed the most.
that was in my principal's report. When we first got approved for the program.
You did, but you did, I didn't say there was, I didn't see there was an application through the state or an application deadline or anything like that. I heard that we got approved, but that was all I remember hearing about that. Yeah, so,
We kind of talked about that last meeting.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I remember. But I
Okay.
didn't think about deadlines or whatever, but
So to
anyway.
give process, we did try to give priority to our kids first before we actually started
Mhm. And you're
advertising.
right, LaDonna wasn't here the last meeting. You're right, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and you know, just I
Quick,
make sure.
I'm sorry, Jordan. Quick question. So how would you know if your child been approved? Because I did sign up my daughter, and it was kind of like that first few weeks after we got approved for it. So I haven't heard anything. So how would I know she got approved?
They should send so this coming week I don't know what the state's doing. I'm gonna be honest with you, it is a little chaotic at the state. This is the second year that they're doing this. And so this is all fairly new to a lot. This is the first time I'm embarking on this. So I didn't know what this looked like. I didn't know what it entailed. Um uh the way I understand it is whenever a student is accepted, like I basically just push a button that says they're accepted, they're off the wait list. I believe the state is supposed to send an email to those families saying they're accepted. Please await further instructions. And then they've asked us going in. I have a training all day. There are 3 of us that are hired are going to be in an all day training all day Saturday and Sunday. They're both 8 hour
Oh.
trainings, and
Mhm.
they're going to be going over most of this stuff of what we're supposed to be doing as teachers and as site representatives, like what I'm doing, coordinator. And then I think they are expecting that starting next Monday, we will finalize our rosters, and we're supposed to reach
Okay.
out to those families with an email that basically states, welcome aboard. Here's what the program's going to look like. And if you have questions, I'm the person to start contacting now moving forward.
I see.
We did advertise on our social media site, so I've had Jensen get on there multiple times to make sure that that was placed out there. Again, what we did was we phased it in. We gave
Yeah, we
all
don't
of
do
our
Facebook.
students priority first. They all went with their flyers, and then on top of that, we had our teachers contact. So to I don't know who was asking on here, like, hey, are we targeting the most vulnerable students? What I've asked our teachers to do at the school was make sure that you're calling those parents and telling them that we highly recommend that they register for this program. We also had that for our parent teacher conference because we had just gotten that program. So they were to also make sure they gave them the information, and every student had that information in our school first. The hard thing is the reason why we didn't get every student registered is some of them don't want to do it. Some of them won't be around for the summer, even if they need it. And there's other competing programs in the summer that we're going against. There's one from Hemis Valley that's something to do with bikes. And apparently, if the kids go through the entire program through June and July, they get a free bike at the end of the school year or at the end of the summer. So it's hard to compete with something like that, right? But we tried every channel, and I know I had one of our awesome EAs calling kids at the last minute because I said, we got to get to 28 so we can make sure all of our teachers are hired on, because if we fall underneath and we don't meet those numbers, I have to release a teacher, right? I can't hire them for the summer. And so they were on the phone. I got 4 registered. I got 3 registered. And so this is a testament to our teachers just being diligent and making sure that our students were prioritized before anybody else came from. And we do have a handful of students that are coming from off the Pueblo.
Mm. Okay. All right. It's good, I guess.
The next one that I have there is our ELPD. I just wanted to share that with you. Dr. Anaya Cooper. She's a super awesome person. She's working with someone who I know really well and who I consider a close friend. Her name is Ann Chavez, and she's one of the directors for the EL department up at the PED. This was a grant. We didn't have to pay for this, and it was also happened to be one of the conditions that we had for our contract. So she came in and did her last EL data review,
Can
and
you
then
tell everybody again what EL is?
English learners. They
Learning, yeah.
used to be
Okay.
ELL, English language learners, but now it's English learners. And then how to make sure they take the WIDA or access test. And what we're trying to do is make sure that teachers are doing targeted interventions with those students that are close to exiting out of those services.
There was 100% of our school at one time were listed as English learners because they put down that they spoke
Oh, what was
Tohono
there?
first
Yeah.
language and English second language. So everyone, we had a lot of support for this because we were supposed to have the EL teachers on board because we had that many students that identified in that category.
I think this year out of 54, they categorized 33.
Okay.
So that was where our numbers are. But she's awesome. You can Google her. She's a best-selling author, and she came in and worked with our staff. She absolutely loved it. At some point, I'd love for her to jump on and just introduce herself. Provided that the grant is still there moving into the next year, we want to be able to tap into that resource. The it also put us in a good light with the public education department because they advertised this everywhere, and apparently hardly any schools, if not maybe 2 or 3, took them up on this opportunity. So she was going to get paid this really great chunk of money to come in and support schools, and nobody tapped into the resource, and we were one of the first
Okay.
ones. So they were
I'm
really,
glad she came out then.
yeah, she loved the school, loved our teachers, loved our students, and did some great PD. So at some point, I'd love to have one of our teachers come on and talk about the work that she did. Um, Indian Education Impact Aid. This is the tough one here. The Indian Education Impact Aid was a federal, they're federal funds that came in. It was a big chunk of money for us, and that is what allowed us to sustain the majority of EAs and support services. As of right now, because of what's gone on with our current presidential administration and the abolishing of the Department of Education, um, we are uncertain of where or if these funds are even going to get to us. I was in a public charter schools of New Mexico meeting with all charter leaders on Tuesday, and I raised this concern. Matt Paul, their director, is going to go in and look into this because it doesn't really affect other schools the way it affects us, right? They get a certain amount of funding for our local indigenous students, and if it's like a big school like Albuquerque Public Schools, it's not it's a drop in the bucket for them. Whereas at a school like ours, that's almost 90% from the
Or
Pueblo. That's a big chunk of money for us to support with that, and so without bringing anybody's names or bringing anything up. I've already notified some of the staff that, I believe in transparency. I don't want to raise the alarm too much, but as of right now, it's uncertain. We don't know where the funds are. They haven't talked to us about whether they're going to fund this. It's hopeful that they're going to, and sounds like from some other charter leaders that they believe this is going to be funded. But in the event that we don't get these funds, it would cost us, we would have to end up making 5 cuts to our teaching staff. And they would have to be support staff. And again, not bringing anybody as names. I'm sure folks are thinking there, and can probably identify some of those individuals. I don't know how we would even run the school without those supports. I just don't. And I'm looking for other opportunities for money to try to supplement this. It's going to be up to the state, from what I understand, to fund, but we have not heard anything back from them at all on whether they're going to give us
this
money
is the
or not.
Federal Indian Education Impact Aid. And when we get that money, and we don't know if we're gonna get it or not, but if we do get it, we don't have to let those 5 individuals go then. But if we don't get it, then they could possibly be on the chopping block, and that's like our support staff, like EAs and all that, right?
Correct.
Okay. So just pray that we get it. And like you said, if we get other kind of fundings, any other kind of grants, and if we can access that $75,000 that's owed to us from the the Pueblo Payments Department of Education, that'll help us out also, won't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and some of these other funds that we've gone after, some of them have increases in them, so it's a little by little. We're trying to stack it, as best as we can. Again, I'm working behind the scenes. I assured those 5 staff members after I met with them that I'm working really hard to ensure that even if the state doesn't support that, we're looking at other grant opportunities that can help supplement that. But that's a tough one because we really rely on that.
Did you already talk to the 5 staff members individually?
I did.
Okay. Oh, good. Okay. All right. All right. That's good.
The last one here, again, I didn't write these out because we've already talked about these teacher observations at identified high achieving schools. I have basically 2 weeks. We had one scheduled in April, but something came up with the other school. But we're trying to get teachers off of our campus and out into 2 identified high achieving schools. I've already got one set up. We're just trying to get the last minute date. Hopefully we can get one. Hopefully we can knock both of them out in one day. So
Where are they gonna go?
my plan is to send them to a half day at Solare Collegiate, where I serve on the board, which has been identified as a high achieving charter school. And the other one is going to be the Rio, I believe it's called the Rio Gaffa School for Arts. It's a brand new charter school that's run by another good friend of mine. And the reason why is because this year, according to the Department of Education and NMPED, this coming school year is going to be a focus on the arts, which is going to be playing into our big strength right now. Our strength is the arts, and so we want them to go ahead and see a high achieving school with academics. And some of the new programs they're implementing at Solari, but we also want them to go and look at this other school with the art program that they're implementing as well.
Okay.
And we can make sure that we
Have
cross
you
that off.
already identified what teachers would go there?
Yes, they'd be all teachers that are teaching core classes.
Oh,
That's what our conditions want us to focus on. So,
good.
Miss Velma, It'd be Miss Jasmine. It'd be somebody from a representative from our pre-K or sorry, our K first grade. And then it'd be Miss Garcia, Bernadette Garcia as well. I would like to send a couple extra if we can, but that would leave us kind of in a slump of not having enough staff to support the rest of the school day. So we're gonna get a little creative, but I would really like to also send John since he is an art teacher. I'd really like for him to have that opportunity as well.
Oh, that would be good, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Last thing, student recruitment. Again, I didn't write this out. I'm just gonna say we need help with student recruitment, big time. I think if we can put our heads together, if you want to email me what we need to do, we need to start sending out flyers. We're planning on sending out our applications starting next week, and so we're gonna have a social media blitz starting next week to try to get more folks to come in and register. We want to try to register the students we already have. We're going to start setting up. We have an eighth grade visitation day. I don't know if I put this down on here. You know, we have an eighth grade that just came across today. Um, Eighth graders are going to go and visit Wallatoa High School next Wednesday for a half of a day. So they're going to have a shadow day, and we're in the process of inviting the sixth, seventh, or sorry, the sixth graders from the day school to come and visit our school. And I'm going to also pass out a flyer to the Jemez Valley to see if there's anybody interested in coming and visiting us there. So we want
And
to
then
try
the Head Start, there should be a Head Start
and then start. Yes.
invitation, yeah, for
Yes,
people
Head
coming
Start's
from
the
Head
other school
Start.
that
Okay.
we're talking, we're waiting to hear back from. But
Okay.
yeah, that's where we're at, but we just need help with student recruitment. Any ideas, any suggestions? We got some really cool stuff for next year. I got in contact with KRQE News 13. I worked with them when I was a news anchor back in my other life. Uh,
Mhm.
and there's a possibility they're actually looking for helping schools. They do charge a certain amount, but because we built a relationship with them, and I know some of the folks there still, they want to feature us between now and December on the TV show that they have running. I think it's like the Good Morning New Mexico or the Enchantment New Mexico. And so they're going to allow us to bring some students and teachers and highlight what we're doing at our school on there. They're going to do that one completely for free. They just want to help us out. And I just, I told them I know some folks. I worked for your sister channel out at Eastern New Mexico when I was there, and Rebecca is her name. She said, "Well, you know what we need to do is just go ahead and bring you guys on." So we're going to be in contact. Apparently, she has some land up by Margie on the other side there. So good, really good person. We're gonna stay in contact, and then hopefully we can have some funds. If we can do this, they're gonna do some advertising for us, and they'll also feature us 4 other times going into next school year after the break, where they're gonna highlight our programs. And obviously we have to compensate them because it's advertising, but they're giving us a rate, a specialized rate, and there's other things that go with that on how they can promote for us. And it's not just 13, it's the CW, it's
Yeah,
the
that CW channel, yeah,
50. There's a couple of channels. I think there's even a radio station where we get our school out there for a little bit.
PBS. Hey, maybe we can ask for donations from anybody too.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure. Definitely
yeah,
do
we
that.
would like to support more art and music, but we don't have the funds and the school funding's got cut. So if anybody's out there who's interested in coming and seeing our school or helping to support us, we take donations, whatever, yeah.
Yeah, we have that set up. We
And
are a
sports
nonprofit.
too.
We can definitely
Yeah.
take that in. Any questions on that or concerns?
No, for recruitment, we need recruitment, yeah.
The next one we have here is the Indigenous Science Initiative. I was really excited about this. I met with this group on Tuesday. Again, I have some friends that are part of this initiative. One of them is former Deputy Secretary Gwen Warnament. Dr. Warnament is a good friend of mine. I've done policy work with her, and she's the basically the head of the Los Alamos, the Lano Foundation. So this is something that's brand new. They're targeting specific schools right now. So it was prepared in collaboration with NACA, the NACA Inspired Schools Network, or the NISN, and Los Alamos National Laboratory Foundation, so LANL. And this will be a pilot year. So essentially, what they're going to do is they've tailored a curriculum that are aligned with NGSS standards, and it's all completely catered and built specifically for students, indigenous students or students from pueblos. So it's not just a science curriculum, it's tailored with keeping in mind the culture and the values and the systems that are important to our native students. And I think it's going to be a beautiful thing. I know the folks that have built this, and we're going to go ahead and move forward with next year having this as a supplement to our core curriculum.
So when does this take place? You just say something that you want to start with your regular science teaching next year?
Correct. Yeah.
All right.
We're going to sign an MOU with them. There's nothing upheld to us. There's a slight chance that if things go south with the budget, I might have to step into the classroom and teach science. I'm okay with that, but again, we'll hit that head on in July and August once we start getting more information. In the event that we don't, I did have a potential our athletic director slash coach slash PE teacher slash possible science teacher slash possible math teacher. He came in and did a observation yesterday, and he'll be probably going to the 3-day training for this in anticipation that he would actually take on the science duties as well as coaching an athletic director position.
When
For
is that training?
that training is, let me pull up the calendar because I did mark it on here. That training is the 16th, 17th, and
Doing
18th.
that, Margie?
What is that? The sixth what?
16th, 17th, and 18th.
Oh, well, it's the teacher that he's gonna thinking about having for the attendance coach.
Oh,
Who
No,
he's
no,
gonna teach to do this
that's totally
training.
different. It's the teacher
Oh,
that would be the athletic director,
oh, the athletic director.
PE
Okay, I was thinking
coach,
attendance coach. Okay.
be the athletic director, the
So he
PE.
can teach PE and he can teach math and science. He's gonna go to this training, but he hasn't been, he's not on board yet, though.
oh, but somebody is gonna be coming on board?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I know this is probably something I should have hit up there. Remember that funding that I was talking about that if we didn't receive, we wouldn't be able to afford some of those. That funding is only for certain things, right? We also have, and I know I talked to Margie, we also have to contemplate that we get funding for teachers that have teaching licenses level 1, level 2, and level 3. This guy has a level 1 alternative licensure granted to him. Basically, the way the board should probably look at it is even though basically he's one person is worth 3 EAs. We can't, we don't have a middle school teaching team right now. We just don't. They're all gone. We got rid of them from Walatoa. I'm hoping to keep on the math teacher if he's willing to come on at a point 1 or a point 2, and we're trying to work the numbers out on that. And if this guy steps in, we can actually have him teaching science. I have the backup plan for the ELA, which we already put in place with Miss Garcia, and I have a backup plan for social studies, which can be taught by somebody that's already on staff, that's already on contract as a long-term sub. But the state will not look kindly on us if we hire and staff a bunch of EAs and then we don't have licensed middle school teachers to teach content areas.
Yeah, and we can't have all those EAs, majority of those EAs were sent over by Kevin Shendo's office when he was paying for them to be there. And since he's not paying their salary anymore, we can't really have them there because we can't pay their salary if we don't get funded for them. So that's
Yeah.
basically, our school is there to try to get our charter renewed with the PED, and the PED says the only way we can get our charter renewed is if we have educated students and their testing scores are approved and we're actually teaching and they're learning. That's how we're going to do it. So we have to do it with qualified licensed teachers. So that's why.
And it's hard, right? Because every one of them is part of our story. Like, obviously, to have that support, it makes our content better, but we have to prioritize. And the prioritization right now is licensed educators that have those credentials and backgrounds. And so it's going to be tough. Again, I'm staying optimistic and hopeful that we're going to get everything that we
I
want.
think so
Where I'm
too.
at.
Yeah. I think
Uh,
they'll cut next year, maybe not this year. So
yeah. Last thing, our doors that we've waited on are scheduled for repair on Wednesday of next week.
thank God. Okay.
which will be important for us going in the summer so we can lock that back door because I know kids have been sneaking in through the gate after hours. Some folks have shooed them away, but we don't want anybody to risk trying to go and get that door open because they can. You can't really secure that door with a chain like we have. It's easy to get in. It really is. It's so by putting these mechanisms in, we're secure and we're in a good spot with that. I know we were talked about this earlier. Important dates. So these are things, again, sorry to get these late to you. I usually try to work on these calendars ahead of time. Some of these things were there, but some of these things kept shifting and shifting and shifting based on availability, based on resource. But we've kind of nailed down what we're going to do with some of these things. So NWEA testing, our end of year, is scheduled for next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We are trying to move our Albuquerque Biopark field trip. We had 5 Sandoval that was going to provide free transportation to our students. They couldn't take all of our students on the 19th, so then I asked the zoo to split it up. And then as of yesterday afternoon on my way out, the person who was helping us came in tears and said that her new supervisor wouldn't allow them to shuttle us to the zoo.
So 5 Sandoval volunteered to shuttle us to the zoo, and then they came back and said the new supervisor of 5 Sandoval can't do it.
Yeah.
So I want y'all to find out who that is and go over there and knock on their door. I know the supervisor for 5 Sandoval used to be Joshua Magdalena, but I guess he's not there anymore, and there's some new person. He got let go, but there's a new person, and I'd like to know why they offered and then why they took it back. So if you guys know who's there and you can find out, let's knock on their door and ask them about that.
Yeah, the lady I'm trying to forget. I don't know why was it not Gail? I think it was her name.
Oh, is
She's the
that
one that
Gail
came.
Magdalena?
I believe that
Joshua's ex-wife still works there?
she was so excited. Hey, we're gonna help you out. We're gonna do this, and we started talking about this last week. She was in Minnesota for her training, and she was sweet. She wanted to help us out, and she stayed on the phone. Hey, get the dates down. Great, we're all excited. And then she came to me in tears. You could tell she was really upset, and she said she was disappointed and embarrassed. And I said, "What's going on?" She said, "Well, after we got everything ready, I had all the drivers and everything lined up, and my supervisor said that we're not allowed to do that."
Okay,
So
we'll find out. We'll find out.
something to do with we don't have the relate, but they're working in Dominic's class right now. 5 Sandoval,
Yeah.
they were
And
doing
see, we don't want them around if they can't help us out because
they were
5
doing
Sandoval is just like, they're so up in the air. I don't even know how to trust them. Yeah.
they were doing transportation for our kindergarten first grade for some of the events. So I don't know where this came from. Again, this is me being new and not knowing too much stuff. I want to introduce myself. I want to see what's going on. If it's as simple as just signing an MOU stating, "Hey, you're not liable for this and that," well, let's get the MOU signed so we can help that
Does
out. That's a resource we need.
anybody on this board know who the new director of 5 Sandoval is, who took Joshua's place?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, we're gonna find out. Okay.
Okay. So we're working right now with Herrera buses. I called in a little bit of a
I
favor.
know that my cousin Stephanie took over something, but I don't know if she took over that.
Is that Stephanie Yepa?
RP.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
She
find out.
took over a few things. I know that, but I don't know if that's part of it.
All right, if you find out, let us know what the deal is on that, okay?
Yeah, I'll ask her about it.
All right, that's great. All right,
Awesome. I appreciate that. Yeah, so we're gonna try to look at taking everybody on the 20th. I'm waiting for the zoo to approve it because I know they get pretty full right now. And I've already had to change the application twice. So I know they're not gonna be very happy about that. But my whole goal is just try to get these kids out of there and having a good time out at
so
the bio.
everybody gets to go to the zoo, K through 8 then? That's what
Yeah.
we're trying to do on the 20th, we're hoping. And
Yes.
then we just have an 8th grade trip, not everybody, just 8th grade?
So eighth grade would be going to Cliffs. This is their eighth grade. Yeah, this is their
Yeah,
eighth.
but what I'm saying is they're going to the zoo and then 2 days later they're going to Cliffs?
Yes.
Okay,
The eighth graders, this is their end of the year field trip for their promotion, right? The school that
okay.
I came from, we would do a school-wide trip, and then we'd also do individual grades. We don't have the money to support that, but we do have the money to make sure that the eighth graders have one last hurrah together, almost like a senior.
And they usually every year they make their own money in sales like concessions and all that. So haven't heard any fundraising things for 8th grade this year at all whatsoever. So
I haven't here again. I coming in late. My
yeah.
whole goal is to try
I
to.
know, but I'm hoping that they don't just take our school money because their parents usually we say, hey, everyone give 20, 30, 40 bucks for your kid for graduation or raise money along the year. But
Mm.
apparently that didn't happen this year. So, yeah.
We have activities funds money, and that's kind of where
You know
we're
who
gonna.
the eighth grade sponsor is this year?
Yes, it's Kira.
That's a,
And I
well,
think
she should have been
they
heading
have
up some fundraising stuff
they have some money prior to me getting there because that was
from
what
last
he
year.
spent some time talking about.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, it's not a whole lot of money to be honest with you. We're not doing busing for them. The sponsors are gonna either there's only 7 of them, and really 2 of them aren't eligible, so there's 5 of them. So,
Five eighth graders?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's nothing. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and it's, it was gonna come in at somewhere around $200 to get them into Cliffs, and we're not gonna be charging for the transportation. 200 total.
Okay.
So again, waiting to hear back from them because I know they're getting booked pretty solid too. Um, our
Will
school,
the other middle schoolers be joining them over at Cliffs?
The other what? Who else, LaDonna?
The other middle schoolers,
No.
like 7th graders?
Mm-mm. She said, are the other middle schoolers eligible to join them over at Cliffs? It's like,
no,
no,
this is just an
this is
8th grade.
eighth grade. Yeah.
It's like a senior trip type of thing, right?
Okay, that's all right. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. What
And
else?
next year, what I want to do, like I said, field trips are my main things. Next year, what I'd like to do is do a 6th grade trip, a 7th grade trip, and an 8th grade trip.
Oh, I
We
love that.
and we've got some ideas on how to raise money, and our potential new hire had some experience with me at Turquoise Trail raising money, and so we've got some good ideas on how we can get some
Okay.
money
All right.
going for that. School picnic is going to be May 28th, from 11:30 to 3:30. I
Okay.
That was something that I was never. I again, sorry, it's late with this. I wasn't told until about 2 weeks ago. Hey, we traditionally have a parent day, like a picnic day, and I was like, all right, we got to put that on the calendar like ASAP.
Yeah.
All of this stuff, just so you know, moving into next school year, I want all of this stuff solidified by like October.
Yeah, the beginning of the school year, the first quarter or something.
Right,
Yeah.
because when I asked them about this, and this was what's
Donna mute.
frustrating for I think both of us, the board and myself, when I
Mhm.
asked them, when do you plan this? They said, oh, we plan this at the beginning of the year. And I said, great, what are your dates? And they said, we didn't plan it this year.
Mhm.
Archie didn't plan any of this stuff this year. So I said, okay. And it wasn't brought to my attention until a few weeks ago. So I
I
was in
should
a
have
rush
told
to
you
make
about
sure
it.
we got these things on our calendar, right?
Mhm.
So
I
let's
just
see here.
I have a
Kindergarten,
problem with something, but go ahead. So kindergarten promotion. So who's running the kindergarten promotion?
that's going to be Norma.
Okay.
Norma is running kindergarten promotion ceremony. That's May the 29th. It's going to be in the cafeteria at 10 o'clock. Then we're going to pivot over to 5th grade. 5th
Hey,
grade,
we have never done fifth grade promotion in the 117 years that we've had school. This started 2 years ago. They did it and they didn't do it last year, but I guess it's being brought back. But I don't know how the board feels about that, but I was a solid no on fifth grade promotion. Absolutely not. So
so
I don't know what you all other think about that. Yeah.
I misidentified this. I want to clear this up. It's not an official promotion ceremony. Somebody
Anything to do with fifth grade, no. But go ahead.
Somebody wanted to just celebrate them moving into middle school.
No.
It's not a ceremony. It's the
Okay.
parents are actually just going to come in. Miss Jasmine wanted to just throw a little party in her classroom. There's no guest speakers. There's no disruption. There's no
Tapping
nothing.
gowns or anything like that.
No, not at all.
Okay. So it's a fifth grade, basically leaving elementary school or something like that.
We're inviting parents to come in at 11 o'clock to have some finger food and some drinks, and
Okay.
it's kind of more like an open house for them, and I'm going to open myself to any questions about middle school for them.
Well, that would be good. Okay. I like that
Yeah.
better.
So I didn't know what else to call it. I felt weird calling it a 5th grade open house, and then
Yeah.
just went
That's
back and forth. And so, Jasmine said, I'm gonna give kids some awards, but we're not gonna make a big scene out of it. The parents didn't want that either. They just said, I just want to be able to come in here and sit with my kids and look at the classroom and say thank you for doing what you do, even though you're gonna be here next year, right? So it's not really a promotion ceremony. It's more of just a little bit of a celebration in the classroom.
Okay, then have them fill out applications right there for middle school while they're there, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, register your child for middle school and we're gonna have this little party for you. Okay.
Right.
just to have things like that happen because,
Yeah,
we're trying to promote kids to come to our school. So if
Yeah.
they hear about things like this, it's good to
kind of like you said, like
introduce
open
them.
house. Open house is good like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
they didn't have, yeah, it doesn't have to be anything big. It can
Yeah.
just be like, honoring them and just appreciate them and they've worked hard all year.
Yeah, and let them know you're leaving elementary, you're growing up now, so this is what,
Yeah.
yeah, this is what we expect out of you in middle school, blah, 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 whatever, and their parents are right there, so that's great, okay.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Get to have fun.
Eighth grade promotion ceremony is going to be May 31st. That's a Saturday. It's going to be at 10 o'clock and it's at the Walatoa Youth Center. So they're going to be decorating and getting everything ready the Friday before. Um, and yeah, we'll go out there to make sure we celebrate those eighth graders walking across the stage. Down the road, again, I left these on their board elections and nominations. Those are in accordance to our bylaws, which the Public Education Commission and PED want to make sure that we're upheld to. I have our lawyer, Dan Hill, right now looking over those bylaws for any reviews, and there's a couple of additions that they have to put in that were requirements. So I'm just waiting to hear back from him on that. And then we want to probably start talking in June about a board retreat sometime in either July, August, or early September, so that the work that we did back in February is done on the front end, and everything's set for the school year. And this would include us talking about all of these dates, talking a little bit about the calendar, anything, any other business that we need to take care of there. I just want to let the board know because I want to report out. I didn't have this on there. We have two eighth graders that got in a little bit of trouble last week and this week. Both students have been sent home for the rest of the school year. This is really the last week of instruction. Next week is testing, and the following week, I'm asking teachers to finalize grades. And so, what I've asked them to do is just monitor their students from home, give them plenty of work to finish if they need to finish up. They'll be coming in on campus to finish their assessment. We don't want to kick them out because kicking them out will affect our scores. And we desperately need those scores. Every kiddo counts now because we're so low numbered. And we also want to show the community that we're willing to work with students, right? We're not here to destroy a student's career. We hold them accountable. There's consequences, and we're going to work with that. But we've sent two students home to finish the rest of the school year. They're not allowed back on campus for any reason other than me authorizing that. And as of right now, they're only allowed on campus to do testing next week. Promotion ceremony will be in consideration and will be a decision that is going to be between me and the rest of the teaching staff on whether they've completed their work, they've done their due diligence at home, they're in good standing, and you go down the list. We want to make sure we're getting those kids across the finish line here. That's what we're interested in. So that's what I have for the principal's report. I'll stand for any questions that you might have.
I just would say that was why we had seventh, eighth graders and we only have 5 going on the field trip then, right? Because they're not
Correct.
going on the field trip.
Those
They're
two
not
students are
participating.
not allowed to go on the field trip.
Not the zoo, not cliffs, nothing.
None of it.
Okay, they just have to finish their work and get through the year and then that's it. Now, do you think that there's any chance of them not passing? Like will they flunk the 8th grade in any way or how would that happen?
One.
Oh, shoot, okay.
One, and we'll see what she's made of. As of right now, one of the grades did bring up she was the last in class in a math class. And the report yesterday was, and again, people work different in different conditions. I'm not surprised by this, but what was reported to me now is that she was pretty much last in class failing, and she went home since last week. This was the first student. She's completed everything, and not only did she complete it, she did excellent on it, and now she's number one in the class.
No way.
The other student that was sent home today was a possible candidate. I don't know that we're going to recognize a valedictorian or a salutatorian. We want to say maybe we recognize them as being top in the class with having the high grades.
Yeah.
But the individual that we sent home today also picked up their game over the last 2 months. And that person is actually would be the probably nomination for being top in the class. Straight A's almost.
Well, that's too bad that they go and mess it up like this, yeah.
So, but that's where we're at. And again, we're working with the youth. They're gonna make mistakes. There's only certain amount of chances that they get. Next year, we're gonna revamp all of our behavior policies so that everybody abides by those. But working with high at risks.
We used to have contracts that parents and students sign too. Do you believe in those?
Absolutely.
Okay, in one back in the day, I know we used to have those, so that would help us out a lot. Anybody have any questions on the principal's report? I know it's so late. I can't believe we kept Aaron this long. I'm so sorry, Aaron. I never had a 3-hour board meeting before, so I'm just dying in my chair right now too. So, well, Aaron, thank you for staying with us. Anybody
Yeah,
have any?
thank you for
Go
having
ahead,
me.
David. Yeah.
Mr. Jodan, thank you. Thank you very much for the report. You've been very, very busy down there and you made a big difference since you've been here at Riverside and in Himas. Thank you for the great job. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I'm learning, and next year I'll come back better and more versed.
Yeah, made a lot of progress.
Anybody else?
And also thank you to Aaron and Angie, K-12. You guys did an
Yes.
awesome job too as well. You guys help the school really shine.
On the budget. Thank you for that. New
Absolutely.
school budget. Yeah. Anybody want to say anything else about the principal's report? Okay, well, thank you, Jodan. We do appreciate you and we are so grateful for you helping us turn the school around. It was just a total in shambles when you got there, and I know you put in so much work, even from he was at we were both at the PED meeting, what was it, April 25th? And we had to get approval to change our mission goal
Our
and
conditions.
our
Yeah.
conditions, and they did approve us, and so we were grateful for that. So but thank you for all you do. I know to me, I think like, hey, you're just a lenient, maybe you're too lenient of a principal, but you're working hard. But no, when you let these 2 students go for 3 weeks to finish at home, it's like, whoa, that's what needed to happen, because like you
Yeah.
said, I can't punish somebody when they have nothing in their file. If this is the first time they've ever done anything and I don't have anything in their file, then I'd have to go with that and give them a warning. But if they do something else, then I have to give them the punishment. And this is what
Yeah.
happened in this case, right? So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so I hope they feel it. Like I said, I would be number one, like, no way you can't walk in graduation. I don't care how much you do, how much you bring up your score, you can't walk. That's just what happens when you do stuff, blah, blah, blah. But then, like you said, somebody who's learning from home and they're really trying hard, then we have to keep that mind open if they're going to walk in graduation. At this point, we don't know that. But by keeping them away from doing their 8th grade activities, I think that hurts, a lot too. And I think they're learning that maybe they'll learn a lesson from that part of it.
Sure. I hope so. I hope so. And we did, like I said, we had great talks with the students and the parents, and that's why I was very confident in just saying, "Hey, I want to leave the door open a little bit." Again, I know we're at the end of our meeting and everybody's tired, but working with some of the students that I've worked with, we don't know a lot of what their family life is like. And as a teacher, I never wanted to be the person that a student came back and say, you did this to me, you destroyed even though they're the ones that are responsible for their actions. I wanted them to know that there are people out there that really cared about them and was cheering for them and was in their corner. And we make mistakes, and I shared that with my students as well. I made mistakes along the way, but I had people who were compassionate and patient with me, and making sure that I was trying to be the best me possible. I am concerned about one student, just to be honest with you. One student that is at home. We talked about the mental well-being of that individual, and I do fear for the other person. I feel like it's a maturity thing. I think sometimes people just outgrow their setting, and it's difficult to be put into a box based on your age. And I've always seen education as being kind of holding certain people back. And of course, if they're the smart ones in the class, we've seen it time and time again. They're the ones that finish their work in 5 minutes and goof off for the next 40 minutes. But it's hard, right? There's not a one size fits all. And same thing with consequences. We want to stay standard, but certain folks need certain things and supports. So I know I needed that, and I appreciate you all trusting in me to try to make the right decision. I won't always make those. I know I'm gonna learn from my mistakes, but it makes it easier knowing that I have your support.
Yes, we
Yes.
thank you for being there. You do have our support in your decision making, and I just hope the parents weren't too hard on you when you had to bring them in and tell them this stuff. But I have also heard that many times, especially in Hamus at our school, that they said like the kids coming to school is the best part of their day. So we want
Yeah.
to keep it that way, even though if they have bad things going on at their house and they escape it for 6-7 hours a day, then we do want
Yeah.
to make it pleasant for them. Yeah. So
Leslie.
thank you for that. Yeah. Anybody have anything else? If not, I guess if we could make the announcement that the next meeting is scheduled for June 12th at 6 p.m. That's the second Tuesday in June, and then the just need a motion and a vote to adjourn the meeting. It is now 9:16 p.m. Anyone wants to make that motion? Anybody on the board can make the motion.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay, so David Toledo made a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:19 p.m. Do I have a second? Anybody
Aaron?
want a second?
Margie, we
I
we don't
second the
have
motion.
Okay.
we don't have a quorum.
Yeah, we do. LaDonna's on the phone. She just seconded the motion, so.
We're Kiani's gone.
Oh, shoot. Is she? Oh, darn. Let me see where she's at. Hold on. Yikes. That's what I'm afraid of. Hold on. Nani, she is gone. Okay, let me try to call her. Hold on. I'm gonna try to call her here.
Oh.
She got kicked off and then her baby was crying. I just got a text. So let me get her back on here. Hold on.
Huh?
Hey, here she is. Okay, hold on. I just need to, we just making a motion to end the meeting. We're just making a motion to end the meeting. So, David made the motion to end the meeting and LaDonna seconded the motion to end the meeting at 9:16 p.m. And I have to do the roll call. Kiani, do you agree?
Yes.
LaDonna, do you agree?
Yes.
David, do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
And Margie, I agree. And they're both on the phone right there. If you could see them on the phone right there. So.
Thank y'all so
Alrighty.
much.
So,
Thank you, everybody.
motion carries, motion adjourned, meeting adjourned. Thank you guys very much. Have a
Good
nice
night,
night.
everyone. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Aaron.
Bye. Thank
Night.
you. All right, I'm glad. I'm so sorry it took so long, but we needed to get through all that stuff and it was such a good information. And thank you, Aaron, for being here.
Yeah.
You're
Definitely.
for staying with us. And I know Joe Dan's been up since the crack of dawn, getting those burritos to school, and now he's